I meant to do this video before Kalashni-con, but life. So this video is about how Kalashni-con has me magnifying. If I were to condense this whole video into a single sentence, it's hard to hit what you can't see. One would instantly think that this would apply to the long range stage, but it's actually the intermediate targets that it shines. I'm talking like 50 to 150 yards. I'll also throw a note in here that just because magnification worked out for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. It won't magically solve all of your problems. There's training and work that needs to be put in to make it effective. That out of the way, let me discuss the catalyst. Kalashni-con has moved to using all steel targets, and they're not painting them. This is for a lot of reasons, but mostly for minimal stage reset for the ROs and consistency. The targets range from a 3x3 foot plate at 600 yards to full-size silhouettes and a bunch of different sizes of gongs all the way down to a 5-inch. These targets aren't always the most visible, and if you want my opinion, I like that challenge. I think it's more realistic. If it ever came down to using these things for anything serious, what's the likelihood that you're going to have a nice, bright, and highly contrasted target? How visible that target is, it can depend on the time of day, weather, angle to the target. There's also a lot of foliage and trees at that location. It being sunny or cloudy can change how things look. The target can be completely visible from one shooting position, and then you run over 20 feet to your right, and even a full-size silhouette, it just blends into a tree. So I'm not gonna lie, these targets, they ate my lunch at Kalashni-con 2024. At that point, I was still kind of a dyed-in-the-wool red dot guy, thinking that an aim point or an EOTech could handle anything. And I was using an EOTech, and I had a hard time engaging targets. I would waste a lot of time trying to make my hits, and a few times timed out because of it. This is when asking questions and observing those that are doing better than you come into play. And I noticed a few things, took a few things away from it. If there's a problem target that those people could not hit in just a few tries, they just move on. They take that FTN. Because if you time out, you're going to have a lot more FTNs at the end of it. And oftentimes, everyone else is having the same issue, seeing that target and getting the hit, especially those in the same division. It's better just to move on and get the targets that you can, and instead of burning all of your time on a low probability shot. Another thing I noticed is the use of magnification, specifically magnifiers and LPVOs. Those people tended to have a little bit easier time getting hits on targets that I struggled with. Third thing, and it's not really what this video is about, it's just working on myself. Fitness, cardio, diet, more training. Just a note. So this is the rifle I had to work with. As you can see, there's an Occam handguard installed. There's not a side rail, but I wanted to add a magnification. I didn't want to have to do a bunch of work to it or change out the system. I like this handguard, so I kind of went the most direct route, and that was an LPVO. I'd seen another guy, he had mounted one and he liked it, so I figured I'd give it a shot. My proof of concept, it was using a cheap Vortex Strike Eagle 1-6 that I got in a package deal with some medium rings, these same rings actually. Got them on a trade. It was a low investment, but good enough LPVO to kind of test out the concept. Leading up to Winter Kalashni-con, I got it all set up and went out and tested it. Seemed to hold up well and had a good zero. I did pretty well with it at the winter match, and targets that I previously had lots of issues with were a lot easier to locate and get my hits. Happy with those results. I went ahead and decided to upgrade the LPVO to something that I wanted with better features and better glass. I went with an oldie but a goodie. It's a Steiner P4XI. It's a 1:4. Features that I had that I like is that it's got a simple reticle. It's got a little like a BDC holds on it, and it's got a daylight bright center dot. I think it's fiber optic technology, but it just looks like a red dot right smack in the center of the crosshairs. It has a flat 1 power, and the glass is also very clear and detailed at full power. Lots of training went into the setup prior to Kalashni-con 2025, including a couple local matches, taking it out and training with it. Spent a lot of time refining and getting a trustworthy zero. Every time I went out and trained, I checked zero, made sure it was on, and it held. So with Kalashni-con behind me, I have another data point to go off of. I did very well. Saturday, it was 3rd overall, and then in my division, which is magnified, I got 1st. On Sunday, it was 1st overall, won the match, and 1st in my division, also magnified. So I ran this rifle both days. So all in all, I think magnification helps. If you were to ask, I'd say 3 to 4 power is a good sweet spot. And if you were to really press, I'd say just go 4 power. However, I did find myself using 2 to 3 power at times. Also, when it comes to LPVOs, the larger the gap between the low and top end, the more both ends kind of suffer. That's why I suggest just getting a quality 1:4, a 1:6 at most. With those, it's feasible to have a flatter usable 1 power and a good top end with a good eye box and a detailed image. The biggest benefits of magnification that I see are target ID. Even being able to make out a target that you can't see with your naked eye, but once you put that magnification on, you can get some information. Another is calling your own shots, either by seeing your hit and knowing you hit it, or seeing some splash or other indicators of misses, and then just being able to adjust on the fly. All that said, I have more Kalashni-con related content coming, including my stage runs, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I hope you can take something away from it.